And there we are. Yo.
Wooly, how the fuck am I going to post my fucking Fortnite dubs to social media now?
What's wrong? What's happening?
PlayStation is getting rid of Twitter integration next week.
Oh, really?
That's breaking news. That's from like 10 minutes ago.
Wait, why?
Because in February, Twitter said, hey, we need to make more money. You know what we're going to do? We're going to charge everyone who uses the Twitter API. And then everyone went, oh, okay, cool. We'll cut out the Twitter API. And then Twitter went, no. You're supposed to pay us. You're not supposed to stop using it. And they go, no, we're going to stop using it.
Yeah, well, now I'm officially just confused as to how to get videos off of the thing. I guess direct upload to YouTube is like...
Hey, that's the only remaining option. But here's the question. How do screenshots get off the PlayStation now?
Yeah, like...
I don't know.
You can hold on. The app. There's an app with the with the PS app, you can have it sync so that whenever you take a screenshot, it ends up on your phone.
That app sucks.
It's not great, but that was I used that for Elden Ring so that I could post the update screenshots of when we're.
People are saying that you can use a USB drive. How convenient. Bro, there is a button on this controller that is now functionally useless.
Oh, man.
Like, Yakuza 0, like, one of the reasons why the RGG series is doing well is stuff like the old LP and people going, you can't push Yakuza! But the other thing was, like, when 0 came out, people were sharing, like, Nugget and That's Rad and, you know, all the stupid shit that happens in that game to Twitter. And that's one of the reasons why there are 2 Like a Dragon games coming out in the next 3 months in English.
I mean, I think like if there was a way to just go like, okay, upload to Google Drive or email it to yourself, you know, like if you really had to.
So useful.
But whatever looks like when you hit a share button on your phone and you see whatever pops up there, essentially. But yeah, that's annoying. Because I don't feel like uploading to YouTube to then download to then repost to, you know, like that sucks.
It sucks.
Shitty. So it's happening in February?
No, it's happening next week.
Oh.
It's happening this coming Monday.
Nah.
The people who are hurt the most by this, by far, is indie devs who rely on, like, you know, oh, there's a clip from our game. Wow.
Yeah. Though I assume if you're like in a studio setting, you're probably going to want to like Elgato capture or something like that, you know,
No, but word of mouth, not like.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the studio putting up a clip. I'm talking about
people.
I'm talking about Jimmy Assassin's Creed fan 44 posting this cool thing he found out in Enter the Gungeon.
Damn.
And that blowing up.
You know, I thought that when we entered the era of Xbox record that, there was no going back.
There was going back.
Yeah. And it is funny to when you look at it, like we've discarded the concept of the select button, you know, for the share button as a major.
So I'm paraphrasing here, but Mom was tweeting. She was just going like, imagine having a button on game consoles that might as well be the Twitter button, and going nah. No.
But like, yeah, and it was probably inevitable because you also think about how that button popped up on every. There's a moment when every website got a share on social media like button underneath it. You know, the little share icon thing. Like there was a period during the aughts where it just became like, oh yeah, like if you're already signed in, click this and you know, it clearly became a good idea for the ability to easily push people towards different websites and shit. So the fact that would replace the select button, which again at the time I'm like, I know select is not the most useful button, but
it has its purpose.
It has its purposes, which we've now put on the touchpad, which now There are
Which
accidental
I now way
touchpad.
prefer, by the way. I actually way prefer hitting the touchpad than the select button.
I hate when I accidentally hit the touchpad. So as long as whatever I'm doing is not crucial, because that shit sucks. You know, I'm thinking of when you have touch the touchpad to reset your training mode position, and then I do a quarter circle a little too fast, and I hit the the touchpad on with my thumb. And I'm like,
see,
okay,
I have tiny bitch baby hands, so that's never happened to me once because of my tiny nubs that I got here.
Well, it's real touchpad hours out here. We accidentally hit that, you know. So yeah, I think the select button had its uses, but obviously touchpad with the ability to, like, you know, use it as a square and go and highlight things and whatnot has a purpose too. But I also just kind of like, you know, I'm one of those people that doesn't like the fact that the D-pad is now an elevated like option wheel as opposed to the means of movement, you know.
Wait, you would prefer like the D-pad as like the primary form of movement?
Well, it depends on the game. In a first-person shooter,
anything that uses analog controls,
3D, I do understand that. But like anything that is, you know, 2D or so, like I almost always want to default to to that type of precision. Anyways,
hey, you want to steal a Tesla? You want to? Don't worry, it's cool now.
I don't want to.
So earlier, this shit just happened right in front of my face while I was on the toilet. So I just gotta bring it up. Tesla just tweeted out, "Hey man, look, you can play video games inside your car," and said, "quote play Grand Theft Auto while doing Grand Theft Auto." Over a video of a guy in their Tesla. So, like, yeah, okay, Tesla says steal their cars. Do it. Fucking do it, pussies. Straight from the company's mouth itself.
I love when the best things are breaking as we fucking click the button.
Dude, that tweet is going to be gone in like 5 minutes. You know. You know. Oh, man.
Kind of like the chat from Silent Hill. Look, I came to this party late, and
you came so late,
and I'm looking around at the room on fire, and honestly, I feel so bad for everyone, and I kind of want to apologize. I don't know what to apologize for, but I just feel like
no, it's just an expression of pity.
It just feels so bad to walk in and look around and go, "Oh my God." The state of affairs.
So I did not watch Silent Hill Ascension. On my Halloween night, I played different horror games. But for those of you who are unaware, Silent Hill Ascension is a 16-part drama series in which players are supposed to be able to make choices in order to change the narrative towards certain direction. And they announced a season pass for this, in which you could control, like, have an avatar that would do nothing. And then people who were trying to solve puzzles in order to vote and get enough points to vote were being told that they earned like 15% of the way towards a loot box, which might give them an item that let them vote more.
But don't use the word vote, because they're not actually voting. They're purchasing...
Right.
They're purchasing lobbying power. So
but on top of that... it came with a bunch of emotes that you could post in chat. One of which was all rainbow, like squishmallow text of "It's trauma." But and here's where it gets really fun: the chat had to be disabled within the first show. The reason why the chat had to be disabled is because it was an open chat, and the only 3 words that were banned in that chat. If you can guess. Oh, is it some of the classics? No, it's scam, Hideo, and Kojima are the only words. Otherwise, completely unmoderated. So that went on for a little bit. And then they pulled the whole down, which is a problem because the chat is one of the features that they sold to you in the season pass. And then afterwards, they decided, and you can go look this up, the dev put it up on their site. They put up a half-hour discussion with like the CEO and one of the devs as to why the season pass wasn't a disgusting scam.
In defense of the mini buys, excuse me.
Yes.
So the headline I saw was first Silent Hill game in 11 years, most hated experience of the franchise. Oh my god.
It is so I would
state of affairs prior to this existing was better.
So Wooly, I was getting ready this morning to compare this to Slurp Apes. Right? I was to NFT shenanigans. That was going to be like my gotta get your fucking pyramid head slurped to get 4 pyramid heads so you can vote on the thing. That's where I was gonna go until this morning, where all those NFT guys went blind.
Oh yeah, right.
I don't know if you saw that.
I caught wind of so at a Bored Ape Yacht Club party, they strobe lighted some wild UV shit, and a bunch of people got major eye damage as a result of that.
So apparently the guy who set up the lights used a medical grade sterilization UV lights instead of strobe lights, and it's functionally identical to staring at the sun. So a lot of these guys were staring at the sun for hours and are blind now.
I don't know if it's real or not, but what I saw was a tweet of someone describing that they spent all their money on their apes, so they can't afford the medical bill for their eyes. I don't know. But
so anyway, my takeaway with Silent Hill Ascension is that my review of Silent Hill Ascension, the thing I didn't watch, is that I don't think it made anyone go blind.
Now the thing with the resurrection to further shit on the bones of the corpse of the franchise that you love is that everything on paper about the description of what this is pretty fucking heinous, right? The idea of the tune in to spend money on the pre-rendered cutscene and then spend extra to change the outcome shit and all that. It's not a game, right? It's literally just that we're gonna fucking scam you. But there's always that part where it's like, okay, now what if within this insane scam setup, the content was actually good, right? There's always a world where it's like, oh, but the story they were telling was
now you've made
actually,
it like, oh, it's complicated. Oh, I don't know. Oh,
it's a compelling story, but
and you'll have like defendors,
or perhaps it's like a staff and writer and creative team did a good job on creating a story, and then it was put into the worst possible means of a medium to put out there.
Yeah,
but one of the first things I saw was like in that live stream defense of the microtransactions, they were talking about like the 16 episode arc or whatever, and how it's a slow burn is the description that was used. And meanwhile, the first episode apparently has 3 monster attacks in the first half hour. So it's just like, it's also one of these things that it's like, it can't possibly be that if it's also trying to get a chat to freak out and go like, oh, you are turn this character into the murderer and have all these like things to spend their points on in every 10 minutes. How could it possibly be an actual story that takes the time to, make you care about any of the characters, right?
I was talking about this, and like Silent Hill 2 came out, and like while it might be a little primitive today by some standards, like it was groundbreaking in terms of narrative design for a game and its attention to detail way back in the day. And I feel like media literacy has like improved 0% since then. Like, what's Silent Hill about? Well, it's about finding out why Pyramid Head really was Pyramid Head.
It's about going back to the origin story and finding out how Pyramid Head became. God. Can you just just tap the sign? The sign, which is the creator, the artist, just being like, I wish I never fucking made this character.
You could do a 90-minute media literacy class on just PH and like on the ways that he has been misunderstood. And it's like, you've played Silent Hill 2. Pyramid Head's like existence is actually really simple. James feels guilty and he saw a picture of a Civil War executioner with a funky helmet one time when he went to the museum that punished prisoners. Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Evil Magic Man. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. That's the whole thing.
But the problem is popularity, and then the response to the popularity, and not getting that it matters why that thing exists, and why that thing exists is a part of why people fucking dig it. So you have a mascot.
Somebody just posted a screenshot of the podcast clip with us looking sad over a picture of Harbinger going, "Don't explain the unknowable."
Right. Yeah. Yeah, actually.
And I'm playing Alan Wake right now. Do you know what the first line of dialogue in Alan Wake is? Mm-hmm. It's like the tendency of people is to ask for the explanation to horror, but explanation is like death to the poetry of fear. Like, That's that? Good. That guy's actually a mutant, escaped, whatever. No, you know what's scary? What is that? I don't know. It's some fucking red pyramid thing. That's the character. The character's name isn't even Pyramid Head. The character's actual name is Red Pyramid Thing. People just started calling it Pyramid Head.
And then, right, part 2 is like when thing becomes a success, or when thing becomes a big hit, like resisting the urge to create a Mickey Mouse out of what you have here, you know? Or if you're going to Mickey Mouse it, at least let it be relevant so that it's like, this is the character it comes from and the thing that it's associated with, you know? And in fact, like, anyone who is like half a fucking decent writer would probably be able to, like, well, you know what? I haven't played the future Silent Hill games a bunch. I couldn't tell you. I've tested and worked on some, and I have my, you know, but like
that's slightly different.
But like, the way that Pyramid Head exists is, if you really need to fucking just, you know, go back to the same well, a template for other characters and their own trauma to create things like that. You know what I mean? Like, you could have similar. It's not Pyramid Head, but it's this person's trauma monster version here thing existing. And it would be, again, it's just, you're going back to the same well on it, but it would at least be less of a destruction of what this one thing was supposed to mean in this one character's context.
You know the worst part of what that whole thing you just said? Early on you said Mickey Mouse, mm-hmm. right? Silent Hill has a Mickey Mouse. It's Robbie the Rabbit.
Oh yeah, sure, right.
Like the character that you could use for all of this explicit shit already exists and is in Silent Hill 3 and 4.
Right.
You could have done it. And it's no, not that one. Also, Downpour had its own
trauma monster.
Do you know what it was?
No.
It was off-brand Pyramid Head.
Okay.
And Silent Hill Origins also had its own trauma monster. Do you know what it was?
What?
A different off-brand Pyramid Head.
Well, there you go. Right. Yeah.
Like, even within the series,
yeah.
Like, as soon as the games got given to not that core group of Team Silent,
yeah.
Every single monster became, well, what if it was like Pyramid Head again?
The problem is the word iconic, right? Like, the moment it becomes iconic, it's just it's inescapable. And And in this particular instance, you have this is episode 1, right? Week 1 of 16. So like you've committed to the slow burn, so to speak, but maybe not.
We're gonna have 16 weeks of developer argument / apologies.
Maybe not a slow burn in the way that they intended, Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite of, how like JoJo like got kind of ruined by the binge drop for the latest part, for part 6, and before it was cooler when you'd have every week you could like come in and get excited about the latest thing. This is the opposite now. It's like, what if you take the dumpster fire and stretch that shit out over a couple months so that you really get to ramp up,
I have a question for you. They have to stretch it out, because if they don't stretch it out, then people's choices aren't going to be able to manifest in the show, because you got to make the choices. But then I'm like, wait a second, the show's completely pre-recorded already, so even a rough count of permutations leads into the thousands. So that means every episode has to diamond itself to end at the same part that the next episode starts at, right? Or else it would become totally unmanageable within like 3 weeks. How much can anyone possibly affect this?
The choices mattering can only matter to the point that it ends on the same note. Perhaps. I don't imagine they created a, like path A, path A, path A, path B, 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 like
watching the fucking real experience of 999 or Virtue's Last Reward here.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. But either way, like, I feel really bad. Like, that's crazy to have the first entry in 11 plus years be considered the worst.
Well, don't worry. Here comes Silent Hill 2 remake.
Right. Like, I'm saying that, right? And I'm like, I still enjoyed some of the cool parts of the gameplay in Bayonetta 3. I still had some fun with some parts of that, like, as much as it was a long wait into my least favorite of that franchise. There was stuff that I did enjoy. A lot of it was borrowed from Devil May Cry, but nonetheless, there was stuff. Yeah. Yikers. Well, anyway. Yeah. I had a short week.
What up, man?
So I finished Pluto.
Fantastic. How is it?
Yeah. So just wrapping that up and strong. Whenever you have a murder mystery, there's always the like, are you going to solve the mystery at the last second, or are you going to solve it before that, and then
it's going to be about chasing the bad guy,
and then there's a chase or whatever, right? And what they do here is really fun, and like spends it's interesting because like the mystery, well, anyway, without getting into like the how they handle the mystery and stuff, I think it's like it becomes less about that and more about like the themes and questions that they introduce early on. They really start coming back to hammer them home later on. There is definitely so when I first brought it up, I was saying like, yeah, so far so good. I watched 4 episodes and I was like, this is fucking awesome. I'm gonna say that 8 episodes, finishing that off, it's a fucking masterpiece. The back half of that, like, I'm gonna go from saying I suggest you like check out the Astro Boy just like brief wiki synopsis of like the who's and whatnot, and I'm gonna say like you should it's definitely a good idea like to know.
So this is kind of where it kind of falls apart, because I know like how do I know how much to check?
Yeah, I honestly like
that's because that's always like, I feel like I'm playing Minesweeper when I do that.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to take
hey, this character, I don't know who he is. I bet he's a character in the thing. Oh, he's the villain. Great, thanks. I'm glad I read that.
So it's not necessarily like that per se, but I think like if you just don't know anything about Astro Boy, you could probably just read like almost like the wiki, like
I know he's
basic
like
summary.
Man.
Yeah, you could read the basic summary of like what the thing is, and then just go off of that. Not even going into the like the specific character like history or whatever, but like I'm talking about general wiki plot synopsis. But the like what I think is cool is like I guess if you happen to feel curious about a name you hear in the show as you're going through it, like you can go like and just be like, oh yeah, what's this person's original version like, and just kind of scan that and be like, oh okay, I guess that's one way to perhaps do it. You know
what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna watch it and not do that.
Okay, that's fine.
And then I will come back and give my thoughts on it, because my main issue is that when I feel like the only issue I'm worried about is that if I am watching it and they are constantly referring to something that they expect me to know and I don't know, and then I get confused. But I don't think that would.
I'm doing a bad job putting this thought together. Give me a second. The show is excellent even if you don't know anything about the previous subject matter. The things that I like are, it's cool to see like, oh, you took this thing and this is what you did with it, and it's like, oh, that's a cool thing to do there, right?
But doesn't that go the other way too?
It does.
Can't you just do that in reverse?
You can, yes. So like if you are like, oh, you after the fact you want to go see what that was, yeah, that works too, definitely. I think, yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm like thinking about how like for me, I knew some of the basis of Astro Boy, but there's like some finer details I didn't know. So for me, some stuff I recognized on the way, and some stuff I checked afterwards. And in both cases, it was pretty satisfying. When it happened when something happened that I did recognize, I was like, oh fuck, that's super sick, and I got really excited while I was watching it. So I guess I'm just trying to convey like I really enjoyed those moments.
So I'm going to use a fairly obscure example to try and see if we can dig into this slightly deeper. So there's I don't know if you remember the horror game Siren.
I remember, yeah.
Okay, so they put out Siren, and then later they put out Siren 2, which I don't think came out in the US, and then they later came out and put out something called Siren Blood Curse, which was just a remake of the first Siren, but like a million times better because it was on PS3 and they put more time into it, blah, 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 blah. In the original Siren, there's a part where a girl's trying to get away from some guy, and he turns his back, and she picks up like a log or like a plank of wood and just rocks his fucking shit. Just knocks him the fuck out, blasts him to the face, right? And so when you're getting up to that moment in Siren Blood Curse, she picks up like a fucking twig that's like a centimeter across, and it like just harmlessly bounces off his fucking head.
Okay.
And the shot kind of stops, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And then the scene diverges where he drags her off.
Knowing
and I
what
remember
that
playing
was
Blood
supposed
Curse,
to be.
going,
Yeah.
"What the fuck? Why did she think that twig was gonna take him out?"
Right.
And then I went back and looked at the cutscene from Siren and was like, "Oh, they're having a little goof where they want to." Is it like that?
It's not like that where the whole bit doesn't make sense unless you were expecting A and you got B. Okay. It's not that, right? It's more like the everything is complete and works, and you might just be like, that's an unanswered question. What was the deal with that? Or where did that come from? Or what was the point of that? And those are more things where it's like, it could just be stuff that you can see as it's like outside the scope of what the story is focusing on. But there are some characters that are like, that's a character that is an interpretation of this, you know? And
it's funny. Sorry, after you. I'll save my thought.
Yeah, and then there were like one or two of those where just like just seeing a name that I recognized, I was like, oh fuck, right, that's an important thing, you know. And then like it doesn't but it ultimately, like, you can definitely enjoy it without it. Yeah, I don't want to like, you know, say that this is,
because my main thing is that I've done the thing where I'm like, oh, I really want to learn more about this character from this adaptation, and I click on the thing, and it, like, the very first thing I see in the, like, fucking attributations on the side is like life, death. I'm like, oh. like going and doing research on something that I'm not completely done with always seems like it blows up in my fucking face.
Yeah. You're right on that, and like as well, like I think, no, fair enough. I think I'm just, all I'm trying to say is I really enjoyed the parts that I was like, oh, that's the reinterpretation of that concept or that idea, or that character. That's
like
cool.
Right now,
but.
I'm running into the issue that you probably run into sometimes, where I'm dodging spoiler YouTube videos as the recommended videos on my videos of the game that I'm playing, and I'm like, no,
Yeah. No, so in any case, it's fucking great, and you should just check it out. But that's it. It's more just like there's definitely a feeling of like, if you go into this, and this is not just talking to you, this is talking to the audience, like if you go into this and you're like, afterwards you're like, oh, like what was this or what was that, like you can go see what Astro Boy was doing specifically too. What's helpful is there's actually like an arc that was adapted, right? So like the real interesting bit is like not just like the general stuff from the franchise, but like the specific arc that was adapted to become this, because obviously it takes it and it goes places that are completely different, but you know, the base players are all there, you know.
Is Pluto like somewhere in, like, it's not the start of Astro Boy, it's like somewhere along,
it's somewhere in the middle of Astro Boy, yes, exactly. Okay. But it also grabs other arcs that are different, things that happen in different Astro Boy arcs, or different like tellings of the show. Like there's a little bit of the 2003 bit in there, there's a little bit of some of the other different things, and they kind of bring it all together to just kind of be like almost like a little best of, you know, with the Urasawa style storytelling. What's of course really, you know, great is exploring everything that is, you know, anything Asimov robot related, the idea of you know, robots and their ability to emulate humanity, and
dude, I love robots. I think they're cool. I think we can be friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And this thing too, what's fun about this is like it subscribes to there's a particular type of show that gets about robots that like excuse me, this reminds me of, like, you know, Cashern?
Yes.
So this is like Cashern, right, where it's like there will be cuts to violent parts of robot on the ground ripped to pieces, and it's like almost, it's supposed to be red for gore, and for everyone who is a robot, that is gore. So the reactions are all perfectly appropriate if you are a robot seeing a body ripped to shreds in front of you, you know. But you are ultimately looking at a bunch of smashed parts and and buckets and bolts, you know. But like the way it's played dead serious, and you need to, like, in this world, just be like, yeah, that is a horrific thing, because that thing had agency, you know. The way Cashern rips apart robots is like, and guts them and disembowels them, is so violent, you know, when you see the oil,
it's robot parts,
like he jumps on top of the head and decapitates it, and it's like
it's different, man. It's just visceral, robots,
you know. But like it's the same thing that you would see in an old 90s cartoon with the Ninja Turtles cutting through the fucking you know, the Krang bots and shit. But it's just here, like it's played for the emotional weight of what it represents, and you know, you got to buy into that from day one. Samurai Jack as well, definitely, yeah. Very, very good, and like, yeah, and a really like a really cool way to like. Again, I keep saying Astro Boy, but like he's not the main character, you know.
Astro Boy is there.
Astro Boy is there, and he's important and he's relevant.
Yeah,
but it's not about Astro Boy, you know. And that thing I said last time about the camera like looking over here is like that stays true, you know. There's Astro Boy walking into the frame from the, you know, like, oh, over here is the bright and shiny moment, and over down here is the dank shit. Astro Boy peeks down here for a minute and goes like, what the fuck's, oh god, what's happening down here, oh no. You know, and everyone down there is like, yeah, it's pretty shitty down here, isn't it, you know. But it's ultimately not about Astro Boy, and I just couldn't recommend it enough.
I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, do it.
You know, it's funny because you're talking about this incredibly, like the dragging a unrelated arc from the middle of something and being like, now it's its own thing, and all this discussion about like whether or not you should be more familiar with Astro Boy and all that is fascinating because I'm playing through Alan Wake again and American Nightmare, and I played through Control to like, oh, because I'm gonna play Alan Wake too, and you know, that is probably important to know. And I've spoken to some people about it, including Gene, and the overwhelming consensus is that Alan Wake expects you to have beaten Alan Wake 1 last week.
Right. Yeah.
Not in 2010.
Yeah.
Like they expect it to be fresh in your mind, like you just beat it and went right into the second one. And that is weird. Games don't do that anymore. Like that game came out 13 years ago.
Does it offer you a what happened last time video at any point?
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
I don't think it does.
Okay. Because, yeah, like, you know, Shenmue and Zone of the Enders, you know, it's like, all right.
I'm being told that it also expects you to have beaten Control and its DLC also.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah. So anyways, no, just robots just want to be left alone, man. Big feels.
No.
Big.
Robots exist for the subservience of man. That doesn't mean we can't be friends. But they have to know their place.
Right.
They're not real people.
Right. That always works out. That always works out perfectly. Nothing bad has ever happened from that exact.
Well, I mean, in reality,
philosophy.
yeah, actually, nothing bad has ever happened from that mentality. But, like, you know, they're just robots. They're not real. I made them out of PVC parts in my backyard.
I think the part that like every one of these stories, whether it's the Geth or whether it's the Matrix or, you know, or any of these, again, like your post Asimov robot storytelling, the thing to always consider is the idea of like the importance of the individuality, and then what it means if that can be copied indefinitely, right? Does that decrease the value in any way, shape, or form, or how do you handle that aspect of it, where like you can, in theory, just have an infinity of an individual, you know?
Well, to be more serious now, I have a baby, and I pick up the baby, and I look at the baby, and the baby is me. And I'm like, that's literally. I mean, you saw me and Wooly and Punch Mom and Paige hung out for a little bit before the podcast, and oh, look at the baby. That's just me. I made that.
Yes.
Right. A robot is not just me. That's made out of garbage from the earth.
But it can be, not with that attitude, but it certainly can be definitely more you if you push it to be. And the more you push the baby to be you, the more it's not going to be you, which is the mistake a bunch of parents make.
Baby's great.
Yeah. So you look at it and you see you, but then there's a point where you've got to realize that ain't
okay. You know what? Fine. Robots can
Solid
pretend to be
fucking
real
snake.
people. Robots can pretend to be real people once somebody nutting is vital to their creation. If you can't build a robot without a nut,
I think the entirety of the Metal Gear Solid franchise is all about the fact that actually that baby is not you. No matter what the genetics say, or no matter what the environment is, no matter how you try to
Snake
replicate.
was born of a nut.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he wasn't.
I mean,
He was born of a cell. They stole the DNA. It was a whole thing.
well, does the act of a syringe piercing and
I don't know. This is getting complicated. Anyway,
is that a nut?
Wooly?
Wooly,
if you want to delve into the real biomechanics of baby versus robot, then there's only one work of fiction that I can recommend to you right now. And that, as we all know, is Binary Domain.
Really? I thought you were going to say Captain Commando, where Baby Commando is a baby piloting a robot.
No, I actually mean Binary Domain. It's actually incredibly relevant to this exact conversation.
Fair enough. Although
if a robot could nut, is that a real baby? Is a question Binary Domain asks.
So is that not, though, like, essentially like an incubator that just happens to be alive and walking around?
I don't know what you're referring to.
Okay. Like, is the rebirth?
Are you talking about women?
Is the are the robots in Binary Domain? If I took a baby in an incubator and put googly eyes on it, is that a Binary Domain robot?
No.
Okay. All right. It's important to define these things. All right. Anyways, I played last week Slay the Princess.
So I heard.
Yes. And that is...
I have secondhand knowledge of Slay the Princess from 2 places now.
Yeah. Peach went through that as well.
Yes.
And the Slay the Princess, yeah, I brought it up a little bit last week, but it's a visual novel that is, it's really just question and answer your way through the narrative puzzle. And then, your outcome, your answers determine a lot of the outcome of the world and what happens. And then it's actually set up in a way that's similar to the Zero Escape games, where if you just keep going through it, you can pick the routes and fast forward to new content, new text, and eventually see multiple endings to get to your true ending and stuff. Very cool, very fun. I like the Stanley Parable vibes of it, where from the outset you're set up in opposition to your narrator. Because like you're directly like the fourth wall is broken and you're talking and answering, and the witty banter back and forth is challenging, the player from the moment you press the start button, really, which leads to some wild shit where the way I play things, I'm just like, yo, what can I do here? Let me stretch the limits of what's possible. Let me see what the game's premise is like. Hey, go slay the princess. She's right over there. And I'm like, let me see how far I can stretch this. And within my first run, I end up with like the complete do nothing, fuck this, I'm out of here route, which is an ending.
Yeah.
Followed immediately by the extreme compliance route, which is also a straightforward path ending. And then, like, through a series of twists and turns, like, the true ending, like, Not the true ending, but the but the double true ending.
The pretty good true ending.
Yes, the true ending, like immediately unfolding, and me seeing what this game is actually about within seconds of starting it, going, oh shit, oh okay, right, and that was actually pretty cool.
I should play that.
Yeah, I liked it because it was probably not the way it was meant to happen, but it did work in that it gave me a greater context for what I was doing in a way that was like, okay, well, now that I see what you're doing here, I'm going to appreciate some of the other aspects, sooner than I otherwise would have, right? There's a fun element as well, which is the when you do go through a particular path or run, of which there are many different ways to go, you are joined by a Disco Elysium-esque ghost of your previous run.
Oh, seriously?
That is there to like chime in.
Oh, that's cool as fuck.
And the attitude you took on the previous run is going to be there as a party member effectively.
Nah, chill, or get her now.
Yeah. The energy you brought last time is there. Like if you watch your Super Meat Boy run and you see the ghost of the past run.
Oh man, that's super cool.
In a visual novel
every time
context.
I'm thinking of like, man, I remember Paige was streaming it. And I hopped in to be like, hey, honey, how's it going? Baby's doing great. And she's like, get out of here now. And I'm like, oh, it's that good, huh?
Yeah. Like, so by trying to see like what the, like if you're testing the waters, the game's like, by all means, test the waters. And then now you get the character that is like, okay, you want to be that? All right, cool. Here you go. This at the voice of the content creator has joined.
No.
Yeah, voice of voice of the fucking YouTuber of the gamer and the memer is now a part of this and is going to chime in to say what they want to say. It's a particularly fun aspect of it as well that makes you definitely want to go out and try it a bit more. It also is pretty fun with the art style as well. Like it's
all pencil, right?
Deliberately pencil style, sketch, napkin-esque sometimes when it wants to be. And I think that was all like that was a really good way of like making it so that the artist could definitely do a whole bunch of iterations and variant paths while keeping it affordable and like making it something that can actually come out, because getting stuck in the fucking art pipeline hell is the way things like this can die. And it makes good use of it, and again, there's times when it's like the abstract nature of the way the story is told sometimes calls for the details to, get super detailed, and sometimes it calls for it to be like fucking like napkin shit, so it plays with that really well. And it's a quick experience, you can do it in a single setting for sure. Single sitting, excuse me, but definitely a fun experimental visual novel, and the concepts and the humor are good. My regret, I suppose, is that like you're wandering around and you're trying shit out. You never know what you're gonna get. So you can hit the credits and beat it and not see every possible permutation, of course.
Right.
But you do definitely get a bunch of them, and amongst some of those permutations, I've been informed that there are some that are just the most woolly bait pathways to go.
Oh yeah.
And I got like a hint of that with one of them, but I guess I just didn't make the picks that would line up with, the outcome that's suited for my tastes. But the voice actor showed up as well. She was in the chat.
Cool.
The name escapes me right now, but that was fun too. And it's I recommend it. It's a short and sweet. Nicole, good night. Thank you. Slay the Princess was a lot of fun. So that's coming out over on the channel. And this week I'm going to be so we're going to be releasing that, as well as I played some more Armored Core 6. That's continuing too. And I'm going to be streaming some more FF9 as that continues. There's the open beta for Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising. I think I got all those words correct. So I'm going to check that out.
God, that's such a mouthful.
Yeah. Didn't get a chance with the previous one, so if I can get into the open beta here and give it a shot, we're gonna do that. And yeah, I'm also there's two things I want to take a look at this week. So one, Super Mario Wonder is out, and I hear it's fucking incredible.
It's good.
I hear really good things about it. So
it's very good.
Gonna stream that, and another Annapurna straight to the Woolly's Brain platform style game called Thirsty Suitors is also out, and this is just a very cool, visually exciting, stylistic game that I saw the trailer, and it seems to be like some Scott Pilgrim energy of like go fight your shitty exes, and it mixes in skateboarding, RPG turn-based battles, cooking battles, all kinds of wild shit going on. I don't know what's happening, but it looks fun. So we're gonna disappoint your parents as well as a part of the tagline there. So Thirsty Suitors, I'm gonna check that out this week and see what's going on. If there's anything to go off of, which is the Sayonara Wild Hearts vibe that I fucking love, it has all my attention, and I'm getting a little bit of that here. So yeah, that's coming up this week on Woolly Versus on Twitch and on YouTube.
All right, let's see. What did Pat do this week? Okay, well, I beat Alan Wake. It's good. It's still good. Nothing more to say. I also played a very short horror game on Halloween. I played a game called... It might be one of my favorite titles for a game I've ever seen. It's called No One Lives Under the Lighthouse.
Right, you mentioned, yeah.
And it is a game about how you are going to go maintain a lighthouse for a week or two because the previous lighthouse keeper disappeared, and you are informed that no one lives under the lighthouse. The game is about 2 hours long. It takes place over a course of 5 or 6 or 7 days, depending. And it includes you going to your shithouse hovel, cleaning up and fixing your little cross, and sweeping your horrible little hut, and cleaning the glass on the lighthouse, and
sounds like
making
Firewatch.
sure that the lighthouse has enough oil, and and then a bunch of weird fucking shit starts to happen, which seems to conflict with the title of the game being that no one lives under the lighthouse.
Okay.
It is also one of those games that's going for a highly specific visual style, which is the store page for No One Lives Under the Lighthouse is actually like a little story instead of a store page.
Cool.
It is like a little narrative about how you were going through your old things and found some weird jank CD from like the early aughts or the late 90s called No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. And
this is retro style. Yeah, this is
the
Alone in the Dark
page
1.
is like the fake manual. And then you get in, and the game is like, I think it like tops out at like 300p. Like, it is so crunchy. It is so crunchy. Like, it is crunchy to the point where things in the like more than 20 feet away from you are just completely unrecognizable as items.
Interesting.
It is great. It is fucking great. It has a bunch of different endings, including the one where you have to do everything just right. But the way that it actually tracks that is it doesn't want you to have to do it over save points. It goes, listen, in order to get the real thing, get these achievements.
Okay.
And there's something that will tell you need this achievement, this achievement, this achievement, this achievement, and this
2
achievement.
hours for each run, and then...
Oh, no. 2 hours, maybe 2.5 for the first run.
Okay.
After that, you're able to level skip to any part of any day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
And subsequent runs go anywhere from like 40 minutes to like 10.
Cool.
It's fucking great. It's fucking fantastic. Lots of gasps and very good, very scary. And no one lives under the lighthouse. It's great. It's great.
A good title sets things up well.
I also played a game on that Halloween called El Paso Elsewhere, which seemed to fit with the Alan Wake Max Payne thing. It's Max Payne, but with vampires and werewolves. With everything that would include. It has an incredibly similar narrative style to Max Payne, with lots and lots of long, dry metaphor like monologues done by the main developer, who is great. He is a great voice actor because he is killing it.
When it came up last time, a lot of one-liner style things were happening where I'm like, okay, it's a game where it's all about the delivery.
Yeah, like it is also has a great soundtrack, also by the main dev. And it's Max Payne 1 and 2 in hell. Like, your primary method of defense is shoot dodging. Like, you hit the left trigger to dive in any direction, and it goes into the slow-mo, and then you shoot vampires and werewolves in the face. And you're constantly popping painkillers to dull the pain. Like, it's that. It's great.
Straight up. Yeah.
It's overt.
Neo-noir, that's the word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like the soundtrack is somewhat cringe, but also fantastic. And like, I did not realize it, but people in my chat were asking me why I was shooting on beat and if that was intentional. It was not intentional.
Nice.
It just feels right to do, to shoot on beat. It's great. Yeah, man, both of those games were so great. I'm so sad I missed Silent Hill Ascension. I'm so sad. I could have watched Silent Hill Ascension instead. But I didn't.
What a fake fan.
Don't. We're not even gonna engage in that.
If you didn't get your fucking Achievo for being there in the chat live on day one, are you even a fan?
Like, we're at the point with the Silent Hill franchise that in order to be a real fan, you have to like burn new merchandise or some shit. Like, it is. Yeah. It's not good. But yeah, no, that's pretty much what I played this week.
Okay.
You should, if you like either horror games or shooting games, you should definitely check out No One Lives Under the Lighthouse or El Paso Elsewhere. They're both fantastic.
Okay.
Oh wait, I forgot. Silent fucking shit. It's burrowing into my fucking brain. Star Ocean, the second story R came out this week.
Oh. How's that?
Do you have any familiarity with Star Ocean or Star Ocean 2?
I have familiarity with the emotional arc and then the subsequent.
So to those of you who don't know, you there might be some disagreement in, but Star Ocean has 6 games. There is one good one, and it's 2, and it came out in the 90s. The thing is about Star Ocean 2 is that it's like one of the best PlayStation 1 RPGs to ever come out, which is quite a claim.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible, but it was a PS1 and PSP game, and it looked like complete dog shit. Then they decided to hit it with the I think we're calling it HD 2D style. in which you have old-fashioned sprites with like modern effects and 3D graphics. We saw that with Octopath 1 and 2 and Live Alive. This is easily the best looking of all of those HD 2D games. It looks fucking incredible. Like it is visually gorgeous, but it still looks like it was like built off of a PS1 game. Like there's a weird, I don't know how to describe it. There's a weird roundness to the CG backdrop buildings of PlayStation 1 games, where because it was a pre-rendered backdrop, they were like, oh, we can make all these rounded edges on them because we don't have to render it. It's great.
Was Star Ocean, like, in terms of release date, like, was Star Ocean and Suikoden and Vagrant Story and like 7 and all that, was all that in like a 2 or 3 year period?
Yes.
It was it's another one of those things, right? Where PS1
games
classic
started
RPGs
to get buried
are all
because
just like
the
fucking
other super classic came out 3 weeks later.
Okay. And the Saga
like I'm trying to find the initial release date for Star Ocean 2.
Yeah, okay.
Second, I don't want the remake, but I remember that it came out, I think it was 98. It was July 30th, 98.
Of course it was.
So when fucking Xenogears and fucking FF8 came out like right there.
Yeah. Like I think the sheer it's very clear looking at this type of, every time we go back and realize how close together a lot of these classics were. It's like no one was able to consume all of them when they came out.
No.
Everyone had to get into and figure out that they were good through word of mouth over the course of the decade following. As each friend would be like, I played that, and this one over here, borrow this, and then you can play the ones I didn't play. And then you find out over the course of a decade while you catch back up.
It sucks.
Way too much going on, man.
It sucks for Star Ocean Second Story because like it came out in 1998, and it looks like shit compared to like Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy 7 and 8, like and all that. Like it looks like garbage. Like visually, graphically, like it couldn't possibly compete. The main thing that Star Ocean 2 had, and Star Ocean 1 had it, but who cares about that? The main thing that Star Ocean 1, I don't know what's wrong with me today. The main thing about Star Ocean 2 is that it's kind of like Tales in that it's like RPG like action combat. Like you get in a random battle and then you have your little dudes run around and you hit people with the attack button, that kind of thing. Plays really well, but on top of that, it has like an absolutely cracked out skill system for crazy people. So everyone in your party can learn how to craft items, customize items, write books, play music, create portraits, pickpocket people, make contraband items, all sorts of shit like that, which leads to a system in which everybody in your team learns how to play music so that you can run super orchestra, so that when Ashton writes his memoirs, he can then sell his rare book to an inn, and then the inn will start paying him royalties for the remainder of the game off of his book. Or he can write a different, more romantic book and trade that to a party member, which will increase their affection for him, which goes into the like ending system.
Yeah. Insane subsystems. That's fucking sick. If you use, oh god, I probably have this wrong, but if you use a combination of crafting skills, you can get a set pool of random items that you can then save scum into crafting on a special sword that you can steal off one of your party members in town, and then you can run that twice in order to make the final weapon for the main character by like the third town. Okay. Because why not? Like just absolutely stupid shit in-depth thing. Like I was looking it up and like, oh, if you use contraband, you can make a secret bank account for your characters that lowers the prices of all the items in the game. Is a lot of this stuff like crazy shit people found after the fact, or is it stuff that as you're going through it you are seeing the possibilities open up?
No, it just dumps the whole system on you.
Okay.
It just goes, fuck it, here's how skills work, do it.
Because again, the older the game, the more it's like when there is shit like that, it was only discovered later. You know, as
like
opposed to just following
over the
game by the book.
weekend. Over the weekend, I made a tweet that like turned people off of it, which I think is kind of incredible. Or is like, hey, what food item can the party cook with MasterChef that nullifies reputation loss from pickpocketing?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's a lot. That's for a particular type of person, but it also sounds insanely optional. Like
dude. So when I was a kid,
that sounds like the most ignorable feature I've ever heard.
So when I was a child and I was playing this game for the first time, I've never beaten Star Ocean 2. And it's weird. I played it a ton, and I'll go into it. There's 2 playable characters that you start as, Claude or Reyna. And the differences between the 2 are unique party members, unique starting skills, unique story beats, unique personal actions. What's personal actions? Oh, every town that you go to in the game, you can hit square, and the party will split up. And every party member will go to a separate part and have their own little story thing that you can go to and hang out with them like a social link.
Yeah,
but some of those are traps, because if you go to the one where Claude overhears 2 characters talking shit about him and listen in, your friendship goes down no matter what.
Oh, no.
So don't do that one. And oh, wait, there's personal actions that happen in the first town when you're at the end of the game. How would you know that? You wouldn't. You'd miss it unless you're crazy, and you'd go back and do it.
Right, okay.
So when I was playing the game for the first time, when I was a child, I got all the way to the final boss. And I had read on GameFAQs that, hey, if you go to the final boss and you leave and talk to this guy, you can unlock the super dungeon. And then you can go keep playing in the super dungeon and get all sorts of crazy stuff. So I did that, and I went and hung out with the super dungeon for a while, and I couldn't beat it. It's very hard, right? And so then I went to go fight the final boss and couldn't beat it. The final boss beat me into dirt like no other RPG boss I've ever played in ever. Huh. Only for me to find out this week that if you do that, the final boss gets 10 times the amount of stats. So that by the end of the super dungeon,
you level up to still have a challenge.
It's still a final boss for you.
Because you get powered up from the experience. Damn.
And I'm like, oh my god, that's why I couldn't beat it as a child?
Okay. So by peeking into the super boss, you just okay.
That's crazy.
Like that sounds like that's a wild way to solve that problem. The other way is to just make enemies scale with your strength, but that shit sucks. So, yeah, okay, wow. Overall,
it is a golden jewel of a PlayStation 1 RPG. But on top of that, like genuinely, the re-release that they've done for it is lavish in its adoration. So it is beaming with, oh man, the people who worked on this are in love with this. So step 1, full voice acting, English and Japanese. Cool. Step 2, full voice acting by the different batch of actors that did the Japanese voice acting for the PSP release. That's a toggle on the menu.
Wow.
Okay. Number 3. You go into your character status screen and you have the fancy new portraits. Well, what if you like the PSP portrait? Okay, just hit a button and the PSP portrait will show up for the whole rest of the game. What about you prefer the original portrait, the one where it says Claude C. Kenny instead of Claude? Yeah, fuck it. Hit square. Do it.
Nice.
Oh, does every single room in the game have fast travel now? Yes. Does the fast travel screen show you where hidden events are and every personal action is in the game on the menu with a little hourglass next to them if they're time limited? Yes.
Okay. Quality of fucking life.
Has the battle system been reworked to be more active, to include things like active dodging and rolling bonuses? Yes. Are random battles completely gone and replaced with a little guy on the map that you run into, but then they all link up so that you can fight 5 of them in a row so you get a massive XP bonus and spend less time grinding? Yes.
That's
Is the
big.
arranged soundtrack and the original soundtrack flippable at any time with the press of a button in the options menu? Yeah, like lavish in its praise and adoration.
Switching to non-random battles is humongous. Wow.
It is like, it is everything that you could ever want out of it while still being the same game.
Okay.
They even added fishing. Why? I don't know. But I tried the fishing minigame and it's fun.
Sure.
And the fishing minigame is a way to weirdly unlock. Oh, yeah, battles now have an assist system for characters that were part of the story but would never join your party. Well, now they can join as assists. And if you fish really good, you can have the main characters of Star Ocean 4, 5, and 6 come in as assists. Just for fun. Why not?
Why, sure. Because for whatever it's worth, the Star Ocean's done now, right? That's it? We're done? This is all you need, and it's
yeah. I don't know what's going on. Like, I went into a shop, and every single item in the game, every single piece of equipment, despite the game being entirely sprites, in the shop menu only has a 3D model. I don't know why. You'll never see it. You'll never see it. But when you go to buy a leather helmet, it shows you a nice 3D model of a leather helmet.
That feels like, it's almost like the way that the pixel remasters of FF were like, there's this little bit of 3D, but don't worry about it. It's not there if you don't want it for too long. It's just going to be here for a second. You know, like, it's like, okay, it's during the opera. Look at the cool stuff during the opera, but the gameplay's still fun. You know, and it's like, in case anyone is like, I don't want any of this new shit. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to see it. It gives you enough distance to not affect things.
Wait,
know?
I own Star Ocean 6? When did that even happen? Okay, I guess. I guess someone sent it to me.
Oh wait, you have to own 6 to get that feature?
No, I'm just Divine Forces Star Ocean 7? I don't know. I did a stream of it? No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Oh no. Oh god. Are we here?
No, I didn't.
Are we at this place where your memory can't?
No,
be
I know that. No, someone's throwing. No, someone's trying trying to fuck with me.
All right. Okay. Damn.
Yeah, no. Star Ocean Second Story R is fucking A+. It's absolutely stellar, fantastic. Anybody who likes JRPGs should check it out. It's incredible.
Yeah, just give shit in the hands of people that love the thing. That's really just, that's the ingredient. Love. Who's been screwing with this thing?
I would like to see a Star Ocean game that takes place after 3 that runs back the disastrous decisions made in 3.
I was trying to figure out how to angle the bit, and
I saw a fun comment where Pat had let angle. Star Ocean 3 taint his view of the series, even though Star Ocean 3 is peak, and I would fight you. I would scream and argue with you for hours. Like,
dude, like, I mean, I just, like, I remember when so Josh told me about how 3 went down and described it over the course of hours, and it was like trauma. It sound like he was shook after whatever.
We were all shook.
Like it was incredible how fucking wrecked that day was from hearing about how that goes down. And yeah,
I will give the developers like massive props for having the balls to never run it back.
And to continue from there forward, right?
Yeah, so that's why all games have to take place before Star Ocean 3 in their narrative. They have to.
God.
It's the rules.
I mean, look, we did eventually get past Devil May Cry 2, you know, and
Eventually.
it's great. It's great. Nice. How much is Star Ocean second?
Oh, it's a full price game. It's like $66. So I don't know what that is in American buckaroos.
Okay. All right. Because I was buying Mario Wonder and I just saw it turn into like 90 Canadian dollars and I'm like,
oh, feels great, huh? Okay, so for Americans, Star Ocean Second Story R is $50.
Okay.
Which that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's so incredible. It's so like also you can skip every single dialogue and cutscene in the game now.
Oh, you couldn't before?
No.
Ugh.
But like, hey, you know when you like for example, when you're replaying the game a second time with the other character and you're running into a mandatory story scene that you've seen already, boop. When you're about to go fight the boss and the cutscene is I'm gonna fight, boop. When you're restarting the game in order to get the skills that you want on your character, boop. By the way, oh my fucking God. I have to give a public service announcement for insane people who are going to be playing Star Ocean the Second Story R. So you're going to have to bear with me, Wooly. I will not have time to explain all the bits and pieces of this.
Sure.
In Star Ocean, the Second Story, or Star Ocean, the Second Story, Second Evolution, many of you who are playing the game wanted to re-roll your character over and over and over and over and over until you started with the skill dexterity, so that when you got the bandit's glove, you could steal the mischief item or the sprite bracelet from the personal action that only appears before the fucking second continent, and you wouldn't be able to get it otherwise, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you can now learn dexterity by crafting 10 iron ore in the first town of Crass. You don't have to wait till the second continent in order to get dexterity. You can do it. You do not need to re-roll your character 35 times in order to get dexterity on Claude. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You don't have to do it. Just play the game. Just do it. It's called Nimble Fingers in R. Yeah, that's right. You don't have to re-roll for Nimble Fingers. You just have to use the crafting thing when you get to Crass.
So, important is who is responsible for this quality ass remake. Gem Drops is the name of the company.
I've never heard of them.
Apparently, they are behind Kizuna Eye game. Sort of Rewind, Crystar, Cogen, Spice and Wolf VR.
Well, it hit overwhelmingly positive on Steam. Okay. People know about Star Ocean 2 now. It's great.
Nice.
They should do more of this.
Former Tri-Ace employees.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay. Some of the people who originally made it. So I look at Star Ocean, the Second Story R, and I go, this is literally the best possible thing. Like, this is the ideal version that would have existed in your mind, right? And I look at that, and I go to the Steam discussion things, and like all the top threads are, do Xenogears and Chrono Trigger like this. Now.
I imagine yeah, we're overdue for another Chrono Trigger. I'm sure there's I felt like the Pixel remasters were like they took their sweet ass time, but part of that I know is also like they went back to the original sprite artist and were doing it that way. I feel like we could get one of those going, especially since I think the last Chrono Trigger re-release was the mobile version dropped on Steam.
No, it was the PC version, which was the mobile version, which was shit.
So there we go.
That took them like a year and a half to get to okay, and I was like, it's a Super Nintendo game, man. Like, fucking, come on, come on.
Okay. Oh, am I a little quiet?
You are a little quiet. So I have a problem, Wooly. The problem is I look over and I see, is Wooly quiet or is Pat really loud? And the problem is that you are quiet and I am really loud.
Yes.
For real.
Yes. Okay.
So, like, I don't know how to...
Sure.
Don't know how to actually parse that.
Okay.
Like, in our real lives.
All right. I moved the mic a little bit, but I'm gonna drag the thing up. It should be fine. Okay, quick bathroom break.
Yeah, let's bathroom it.
All right, BRB. All right. A couple word from our sponsors.
I love our sponsors.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
It's my favorite VPN service.
Going online without ExpressVPN is like changing while leaving your window wide open. You might not have anything to hide, but why give random creeps a chance to invade your privacy? Okay. All right. You know what?
You know what? That hits me hard. That hits me really hard because like I have like changed my pants in my kitchen and then had this moment of like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. No, as far as the analogies go, some of them are way more out there. This one I see it.
I see it.
I definitely have an attitude of like, hey man, it's your eyes. Like, if you want to bleach them, you can behold all.
You want to see what I'm downloading? Yeah, have at it, freak.
But
you've never seen. Yeah, I'm not gonna. No.
Yeah. All right. I might even start helicoptering if you fucking.
Nah, man, nah.
If you want, hey.
How many times?
If you want damage, we'll see how like. In 1 minute, or we can go heavy. We can do a lot in a minute. That's a long time. Yeah. I'm sure there's a per second metric we can get going on that.
My brain is flooding with garbage. Luckily, with ExpressVPN, I can mitigate some of that garbage.
My brain was racing to get like the veins per. I can't. I just
don't. No. Hey. No.
Look, it's real simple. ISPs are out there trying to get your information and sell it to advertisers. They're trying to pig out on all your data.
They want your delicious data.
And that sucks. And on top of that, while that's happening, on the other side, you've got these video services that you subscribe to that are all like, you can't watch what is not there. And I'm like, but where's
You're like,
here?
You can't tell me what to do, the man.
And I can step to the left and I can watch it, but if I step to the right that I can't, that's stupid. What am I paying you for? So
that is stupid.
ExpressVPN is the way to bypass all of that garbage by simply hitting the button, and just like that, you've got your online security. Your data is anonymized. You are encrypted for maximum protection. Click one button, works on your phone, laptop, on your routers, so anyone who's connecting to your Wi-Fi can be protected as well. And yeah, I've used it many a time to watch what I want without being told, yo, you're in Canada. Fuck you. I'm like, yeah, well, eat shit.
I think like I don't think that their own ad copy actually does it enough of a service, because like I use the browser version and I go, oh crap, click. Oh well, no problem anymore. It's like 5 seconds.
It's the meme of the bouncer that's like, you can't come in, and then you click the button and it's like, right this way, sir.
And you put a cardboard cutout of Mary Kate's face on your face, and then you can get right in.
That's all it takes. So yeah, secure your online activity by visiting expressvpn.com/superbeast today. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast. And you get an extra 3 months for free. expressvpn.com/superbeast. Thanks, ExpressVPN. This week, the podcast is sponsored by Henson Shaving. And yo, shaving's important.
I recently had a situation in which I looked at myself on stream and I'm like, that's all right. And then I went on the show and somebody was like, yo, Pat, you look like shit. Shave.
Damn.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I have a little internal, like every part of me has a little, like, little edge up meter. Got to retwist, got to handle, got to do some, handle some of the face shit coming in. And then there's the part where I'm like, oh, I got some gray showing up. how do I make that look cooler?
How do I maximize the gray?
Yeah, I like the grays
we're getting
in.
to that age. You want to maximize your gray, man.
It looks cool. It looks super cool. So that is important. And yeah, Henson is going to be able to hook you up. So Henson Shaving is a family-owned aerospace parts manufacturer that has made parts for the ISS, the International Space Station, and the Mars rover. And now they're bringing precision engineering to your shaving experience. That is a pedigree. God damn.
Listen, my face is delicate, and I would like some care. This sounds appropriate.
Yes. I would trust folks like that to handle the shaving of my face and making sure that I can make these cool grays look good. Yeah, no, the precision and thin razor blades that are what is that, 0.0013 inches thick?
I don't know what that is. That's small, right?
That is insanely small, less than the thickness of a human hair, and they have that level of precision. Clog-free design. A razor that has built-in channels to excavate hair and cream, which makes clogging virtually impossible. It's the best razor. So that's a whole lot of science that I am like, yep, you can do that. Yeah, they sent the box. I tried it out, and I definitely was able to very easily avoid the bump problem that has plagued many a black person in high school with those bumps. If you don't know what you're doing, if your razor's not quality enough, you can get that kind of ingrown hair thing that looks like acne but isn't, and it sucks. It sucks, and it looks terrible, and it takes a while before you figure that out. And I had a couple of those with some shitty razors, the kind that like they arrest you when you go to buy at the pharmacy.
Mistakes, all I'm gonna say about myself is that mistakes were made when I was younger with razors.
Yep.
And part of that was the choice of razor, and part of that was every choice I made after that.
Exactly. So it's bad enough that you go down to the pharmacy and then you get treated like a criminal when you're like, can I get the one behind the box? And they're like, who's asking? So don't deal with that. Deal with the precision of a Henson shaving razor blade. And I got sent a box, and it was very easy and very, very smooth as a shave. So you can say no to subscriptions and yes to a razor that'll last you a lifetime. You can visit hensonshaving.com/superbeast to pick the razor that is right for you and use the code SUPERBEAST, and you'll get 2 years worth of blades for free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart.
Huh.
Yeah, that's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/superbeast, and you use the code SUPERBEAST. Thank you very much, Henson Shaving.
Thanks.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by DoorDash. And it's real simple. It's 2 words. One is
this is the part of where I listen to this ad and I get super hungry, and then I don't eat for 3 more hours, and I get super grumpy for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, look, your door is the thing that's keeping you and your food apart from each other. Right?
I thought, yeah.
And a dash is what's required to get that food to you.
My door was open. Food could just wander in.
It could. But the problem is that it's closed and that there's no dashing occurring. So it's real novel. DoorDash puts the 2 together, and then you get the food to you. Yeah, that's look, you get hungry. Fortunately, all you got to do is hit the button and get it coming straight your way. Of course, DoorDash is Got all your favorite go-tos, local chains, the mom and pop shops, whatever's in the neighborhood is going to be up there. I definitely use it to see what's going on. Places I want to try out, always available. And the Dash Pass is also available. If you're a Dash Pass member, you can enjoy exclusive offers and perks all season long on stocking stuffers, decor, groceries, meals, and more. You also get 0 delivery fees and reduced service fees on eligible orders too. So yeah, not just ordering food, but you can also get the basics, the things you might have forgotten, little corner store pickups or groceries brought straight to you as well. Real convenient. So you can order now and get the holiday help you need from DoorDash. Use code BEASTHOLIDAY to get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more at convenience, grocery, or select retail stores on DoorDash. Terms apply. One more time, if you order now, you can get the holiday help you need from DoorDash. Use the code BEASTHOLIDAY, and you'll get 50% off up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more at the convenience, grocery, or select retail stores on DoorDash. Terms apply. Thank you, DoorDash.
Thanks, DoorDash.
This week, the podcast is also sponsored by Uncommon Goods. And
dude, I have far too many common goods.
Your goods are way too common. In fact, they're basic, and that sucks.
Oftentimes, I look at my good and I see that this is a good that any common person can acquire easily, and I go, no, enough of that.
So I've legitimately talked in the past about how, like, yeah, Uncommon Goods is great because it's if you are someone who gets I like getting good gifts. I put a lot of effort into getting something that is going to be right for the person and also kind of cool, a little bit like in their wheelhouse, but also not super obvious. And it's sometimes you got to figure out by hunting for a while for like what that might be by doing the work in advance. Uncommon Goods in particular is a site that's where you can basically find things that are all the less obvious, interesting, off the beaten path kind of things that make for great gifts. And in particular with the holiday season coming up, that is a awesome secret weapon to have. Especially if you want to, leave a mark with getting a good gift. I've given examples before. I've managed to get Punch Mom the, self-watering, self-lighting plant kit that kind of just is a self-contained thing. I've gotten a game of like cool 3D tic-tac-toe that you play on the X, Y, and Z axis. A fun just fun little like board games, little things like that. Things for the kitchen as well, like plant stuff. Any kind of theme that kind of suits the person that you're shopping for. They've got a section for, and a lot of unique options there. So it's super dope. I love it. If you are looking into your Christmas shopping, it is coming up, and everything. When you check out Uncommon Goods, you're supporting small artists, you're supporting independent businesses, a bunch of different small batch places. So check them out and find something that'll it'll be unique. Don't be a basic bitch common good shopper. Your goods need to be way more uncommon. So get 15% off your next gift. Go to uncommongoods.com/superbeast. That's uncommongoods.com/superbeast for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods. We're all out of the ordinary. Thank you, Uncommon Goods.
Thanks, Uncommon Goods.
That plant is still going. It's still going.
No, is it?
Yeah, like
Paige loves
green thumb,
she loves the idea of putting
thumb
plants everywhere. Mm-hmm. And every time she gets plants or flowers, they're fucking. It looks like somebody poured bleach on them the next day. Like they just instantaneously die.
Again, one of the first streams Punch Mom was on, I held up a cactus that was dying falling out of, leaning out of the pot, so.
No, hey, come on. Hey, I'm making fun of the wife's plant abilities. I'm losing my lights. Put my lights back, please, wife. I love you.
All right.
Well, have I ever told? So we were talking about shaving earlier, and we're talking about shaving mistakes. Did I ever tell you the story of how I accidentally shaved my legs?
Accidentally?
Yeah, I accidentally shaved my legs.
Were you going to a swim meet?
No, I was not. So what
happened?
When I was like 12 or 13, so my dad, I have super curly hair, and my dad tried to show me how to use a regular razor, and we discovered that was like going to be a mistake going forward, right? So we're not going to do that. So then he showed me how to use an electric razor, right? So I primarily use an electric razor, right? And I always wanted to have a little bit of fuzz, and I had like a beard when I was like fucking 10 or whatever, so it worked out. But my mom would keep her razors for her legs in the shower, right? And then one day, like a couple of years later, I was like, "Do these things even work?" And I put it on my leg and went whoop, and had this fucking foot long strip, on the front of my shin with no hair on it. And I went, oh no! And so I quickly did the whole leg so that no one would notice.
There you go. You can't stand out. So you got.
And then I stepped out of the shower and looked down and realized that I had one hairy leg, and one completely smooth leg. And I went, oh no!
No one will know.
And I went back and I shaved the other leg. And so now I have two completely shaved legs. And gym class was the next day. Like, it was first period.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. And I went in there, and one of the kids that hated my guts and that bullied me looked at me and went, "Did you shave your fucking legs?" And I went, "No. Also, why are you looking at my legs? You want to kiss them?" And then I just like, everyone's like, "Yeah, dude, you're looking at his legs. You're gay." Yeah. And then for the remaining week, I would not wear shorts. I only wore pants because everything from like the top of my knees, like maybe 6 inches above my knees down, every single follicle came in ingrown.
Jesus fucking
every
Christ.
Single fucking one. And like I would take a shower and it would just be blood. And I'm like, how do bitches shave? Oh my God, does this happen every time? This is awful.
Oh no, it worked. Oh no, it worked too well. Uh-oh, now what? Oh God, oh geez,
and then
God.
I skipped my second gym period that week, and then my hair grew back in. And then nothing came of it. But
did you signal the school bus by waving your legs in the street a little bit?
No, I walked home to school. I didn't have to.
Okay. Just flash a little skin, yeah.
Just like
Jesus Christ.
Just like I made one small mistake that was then followed up by a dozen follow-up panic mistakes.
And did you collect and hide the hair sufficiently after the fact? Because if someone walks in and sees like a red a crime scene on the ground in the form of your
my mom and I have the same hair color, so
okay.
Like I just stomped it down the drain, and just like any errant hairs, mom will just think it's hers.
I mean, would she though? Like,
would
your dad walk in there and go,
very much.
Are we going through our Muppet phase? What is happening? Okay.
Hey, listen.
Hey, does the carpet match the drapes?
Fuck you.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Why do you want to fucking ask about my fucking dick hair, bro?
The leg carpet. Does the leg carpet I don't know.
Yeah. That's not what that means.
It's not, but it was topical. All right.
Also, the weirdest part, not anymore.
Yeah.
My hair got darker. Mm-hmm. You notice my beard didn't? Guess what?
Gingers have that, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All over. That's wild. That's crazy. To hold up like two strands and have them look like different. Anyway.
Oh, the hair from the top of my head. So, Wooly, I have dark, like auburn hair on top of my head. I have blonde eyebrows. Every hair on my arms and legs is blonde. My beard is bright red with white now. When my dad got older, and before he lost all the color in his hair, he had black hair with red mustache. He looked like an asshole.
That's so wild.
But he also looked cool and old, so.
Anyway, speaking of cool and old, we got some bum news. Unfortunately, the Golden Girls Take Manhattan DX has been canceled. So,
and it got canceled for a totally legit reason, where they're like, the scope was so out of control that they're like, we'd never be able to finish it.
We planned to fan make a Persona game, and then it turns out we bit off a little more than we can chew. So that's completely reasonable.
So they're releasing all the assets for everybody to fuck with.
Exactly. So the good news, I suppose, there is you can go check out when they're gonna release everything they've made so far. All the code is gonna go up on GitHub, all the assets and everything they've worked on so far, and they're also putting it up in a way where people could, in theory, like add and finish it if they wanted to. Like there could be a communal,
but they could,
effort to compile something after the fact, but. It was just way too large in scope, and that's a shame. I think that's one of those bits where it's like you should probably start with like a vertical slice, because the trailer looked like they had a lot going on in it, and I imagine what we're gonna get is gonna be kind of similar to that, but like starting with a kind of like proof of concept of like a quick chapter to see how that goes, and then seeing from there, like, is there a way to push this forward? Effectively the Deltarune school of development, but for those who didn't know, if you haven't seen it, there was a fan-made Golden Girls ass Persona style RPG that was being made called Golden Girls Take Manhattan DX, and it looked pretty fucking great. So that's a bummer.
You always got to remember, the reason Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden was able to come out is because the scope was kept limited.
Yeah,
limit that scope.
Yep. Start realistic and then do what you can.
Also, and this is actually like really important, this is maybe the best thing I ever heard about any creative medium. When you start working on your creative thing, your temptation is going to be like, I'm going to make the thing I've dreamed about since I was a kid. Don't do that. Your first project is the most likely one to fail and sputter out, and for you to fuck it up and shit it up and never finish or put out half-assed.
Every time.
The thing you've been dreaming about since you were a kid, do that when you're like 50 or 60.
Like the trajectory is very similar for a lot of people, which is the dream thing that is the high school thing. Like you either go down the path where you learn to become I'm the programmer, artist, writer, voice actor, all of the above, amazing, super fucking creator, and then you just do it. But for a lot of people, it's not that, and you end up failing at your first attempt. So then Project B is actually the smaller scale thing that you get your teeth sunk in with, and you go, oh, okay, you figure out how to actually make a thing. And then C is a little bit more complicated, using the tools and mistakes you learned from B. And then at some point around, you come back and like 5 or so, maybe 4 things in, you're like, maybe now I can tackle that first thing I always wanted to do. Plus I have friends and connections and other people I've met that are talented that can realize the vision, But your first attempt is almost always going to be a fucking rough one, for sure. But yeah, we got that going down. I talked about it a little earlier. Thirsty Suitors pretty much came out of and dropped a trailer, so mentioned that. We talked about Silent Hill as well. So the weird one is right as we were getting started too. A rumor, but the rumor is coming in from a trusted leaker, I suppose. Says that a film adaptation of Bloodborne is in the works.
I don't believe
that. It sounds super wild. It sounds, and the only reason why I bring it up is because according to Bloody Disgusting, they're pointing out that the person who brought this up also was the one who brought up a couple of other reliable leaks in the past from like a couple superhero movies and things like that. And they're saying that the producer, or rather the writer, is Darren Lemke, who is credited as the writer for Goosebumps and Shazam. This is apparently in vein with things like Twisted Metal, which they just made for Peacock. So
no, this guy snuck into a Sony person's house and saw them watching Brotherhood of the Wolf on their fucking TV and went, "Oh, it's a Bloodborne,"
and that's what it was. Yeah, and so there's a description that it's basically like, oh, there's gonna be a hunter and Yharnam and all the things you expect there, and it's like, well, if they made
still waiting on that Metroid movie.
If they made Twisted Metal out of nowhere, anything is possible. But there's also a level of like, could you a world where you get a full Bloodborne movie coming out, but you still can't fucking play the thing, like, is or in 60 FPS even, or a re-release or anything like that would be hilarious and just the kind of move Sony would pull. That would kind of suck actually. If like,
yeah, it would, wouldn't it?
A movie came out and is like, hey, everyone's looking and talking about Bloodborne again, and that's it. None for you. Yeah. Nothing whatsoever. It feels like that would be such a callous way to go that we might actually see that happen. I can imagine it.
Every time I hear the word, so me and Paige spent like maybe 6 award shows in a row going Bloodborne, and then nothing. So I have been ruined of Bloodborne, of saying Bloodborne and thinking there'll be a Bloodborne, and then there are no Bloodborne.
It would be pretty cool if this movie came out and released straight to Laserdisc, actually.
Oh, that would be pretty great. That would be excellent.
That'd be really fun.
Oh, hey, Wooly, there was a small piece of information about something we talked about last week that it doesn't really fit in anywhere properly, but I need to get it out of my head before I forget. Do you remember last week where I said, yo, Miles in Spider-Man has an absolutely trash costume where he's like got Adidas sneakers on and the whole thing looks like garbage?
Yeah.
Well, you can buy it in Adidas's store. And there's fully modeled Adidas stores in Spider-Man 2.
Okay, so a marketing deal was struck up, and that's why things turned out this way.
It's so trash, dude.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, right? The costume designed by the complete outside fucking influence, and yeah, okay, interesting. Wrong brand, wrong everything, and then of course there's a tie-in on that. Yeah, okay, I believe it.
It makes a lot more sense why you're not allowed to take it off.
Yeah. So there was alongside there's a couple of things that got announced. Sega has come out and Sega's been talking. Sega's like
Sega's been saying a lot of shit.
Sega's been saying a lot of stuff. One, they're like, hey, Sonic and Mario, they can celebrate and race each other at the Olympic Games, but Sega wants to surpass Mario. Believe it or not, after all these years, the ambition has been
30
set.
years.
They're officially calling it out now. They're pointing out
30 years. 30 years.
Sega's officially saying that we want Sonic to surpass Mario, and
okay,
we're getting serious this time.
Not only is it 30 years later, but it's 25 years later of, oh, you're playing with plumbers? What are you, gay? In print magazines. Sonic's for cool kids that fuck women. Like
it's and for Christians, don't forget Christians.
Yeah, that's right.
It's also hot on the heels of what I'm hearing is one of the best Mario games ever made. So
yeah.
Good timing, solid.
Don't compare it to that game. That game,
well, they say our goal is to catch up and surpass him, right? So but alongside that was the confirmation that Sega is working on its first super game.
So this has some translation stuff going on in this story. Where like it was originally reported that the budget for their super game was $800 million. But no, that's the budget they have for like all of their big push. But they still mention that there's going to be a super game, and it's like
so for 2026, they're aiming for their biggest AAA title that will be a comprehensive crossover of Sega's, I guess like brands and range of technologies and everything. So they're using all of their R&D to create a super game that scales.
The last super game Sega made was Shenmue, and it was a fucking disaster.
So is that the translation of what super game means in this context? Because like I feel like if you say AAA, that's the word, right? And I feel like everything Yakuza related can be considered that.
So
I would assume
the weirdest part about all this is like they say super game and leverage the fucking technology and all that shit. This came out like 3 days after an interview with the director of Infinite Wealth and Like a Dragon Gaiden, which by the way I'm playing this week on the channel. It's sponsored. You can go look at that. In which he was describing, like, talking to his boss about, like, hey, so we're doing Like a Dragon Gaiden and Infinite Wealth. Is there anything you want us to do? And the quote is, don't change anything. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay.
And like, that mentality is so violently opposed to, we're going to integrate all our technologies to make a super game. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck is going on over there.
So the thing is, when I like reading this, it said like, yeah, they have a concept that they want to stand head and shoulders above their normal games and things like that. I kind of read that more as like not a AAA game, but like an attempt at a quadruple A, or like or possibly even a like Smash Brothers like
we're gonna get
all of our
brands,
all of our powers together. Everything we can do. All of Sega coming to do something ambitious and expensive. There was but I remember too, we also talked about how prior to this, Hyenas was the live service shooter that got canceled, was previously their biggest budget game ever.
It was done also, right? Like, it can't be overstated that Hyenas was finished, and they just decided that it wasn't even going to be worth shipping out discs.
Yeah, it's a bit. It's kind of wild to be like, here's the money we're spending preemptively, and we're calling this out years in advance. And if you just canceled your previously most expensive, your last most expensive project just got canceled a couple seconds ago. But like maybe this is hey, investors, please don't leave. Look, here's what we're planning. Kind of like,
they didn't even say they were going to bring it back to beta or rework it. They just killed it. Like, how trash must have that shit been, man? Like,
every time I hear like one of these, like the announcement is not the game itself, but it's an announcement about the thing in a development context, I always think it's like, this is for investors who just saw what just happened to be, convinced to stick around. I feel
there were new trailers of hyenas coming out 2 months ago, dude. This shit, that decision had to have come down in a matter of weeks to just kill it. There was weird shit in it too. Weird. You could dress up as a guy coded in Dreamcasts and Sega Saturns.
We also did. It's nowhere near the same scope, but I'm like last week was also the shutting down of the Yoko Taro evil Sega game. So there's a couple of things that anything that shuts down less than a year after it launches is again not going to be convincing anybody to stick around. So, anyways, that's what they're talking about. If you're a fan of 20 Minutes Till Dawn, they just announced a sequel, Emberpath. Looks pretty cool.
Do you have to aim in this game?
You still have aiming.
Shut up. I don't care.
You still have aiming. Yes, you do. Though you can play with or without twin sticks. So admittedly, there is there's some weapons in some ways where you can just run around and kind of have it do its thing. So it's not, But yeah, I like 20 Minutes Till Dawn. I thought it was
I thought it was cool. I just didn't want to aim.
Mm-hmm. So Tekken 8 announces its second original character. It's fucking Hitman from DNF Duel.
It's French Hitman.
French Hitman, literally old man zaddy face, sword and gun, long coat.
We're doing this now on this podcast?
Doing what?
Zaddy? We're zaddying it up in here?
This is not the debut of the term zaddy on the podcast.
I don't know. I feel like it is.
It has absolutely occurred before. There is not a chance. Zaddy has happened. And yes, it's not Agent 47 style Hitman, but the DNF Duel style motherfucker. Victor Chevalier. Or to do it properly, Victor Chevalier. He
alternatively V Horsey Man.
Voiced by Vincent Cassel. He shoots the gun way more like Nina, like Nina did a little bit of gun shit. And
this man's John Wicking with his gun shooting
aggressively, and so fighting game guns continue to just be basically just rubber bullet combo extenders. That's all it really is. And then he pulls the sword out, and then he pulls out.
He's got a Jetstream samurai sword.
Jetstream Sam samurai sword. Anime teleports left right. And yeah, looks cool. It couldn't remind me more of again Hitman, but
I think the reason why they designed him with a bunch of teleports is so that when you're playing as or against him, you won't notice the latency as much. Because when he skips around, you'll be like, "Oh, that's his new move."
Oh, that's his mix. Oh, that was a mix-up.
That's his moves.
When the purple and the blue flash together, yeah. So he's and he works for I think it's like the UN Raven Corps something. There's a thing with him and Raven as ninjas and whatever rivalry bits, and so you see them fighting each other. So they're both teleporting all over the place. So it's the rollback frames are baked in, right? Vincent Chevalier is 3. Or Victor, excuse me. Perhaps that's what's happening there. He looks cool. It's fine. And
is he just a replacement for Noctis's moveset?
He is. There are people flipping the word Victor into Noctis because yes, it's just. If you're someone that liked the ability to weapon poke and teleport all over the place, and Noctis is not here.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a really good way to solve that problem. I think that when Smash Bros puts out their next game and looks at all the fighting game characters they have to not have again, they should just map all of their bullshit onto existing WarioWare characters. existing Nintendo characters. Waluigi is Ryu. He just
figure
is.
it out. Yeah, sure. The Hadoken is a fart. It's fine. Okay. I see where this is going. I remember too when they're like, oh yeah, and he's a French fighter, and I was like, oh, doesn't Lily represent France? And it's like, no. Turns out she represents Monaco.
She represents Monaco?
Yeah. So she speaks French, but she's from Monaco. Actually.
Oh yeah, people in Monaco would speak French. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, it's okay, French-speaking country, but I didn't realize that. So I guess this is actually the France representation there. Yeah.
Interesting.
There's your Noctis. Noctis too, like, is one of those characters too that's like feel like super easy to pick up, just like tons of far-ranging like buttons that, and then like left right mix-ups baked into super unsafe strings and stuff. So it's also like not just like a Noctis replacement, but a beginner-friendly character probably. Just looking at the trailer. Cool. I'm like, yes, you show new things, please. And I wonder, I don't know, I imagine we'll be able to get another beta going before it comes out, and see what the state of the net play is. But like I said last time, it seemed to be a bit better, but I didn't get as much time on it. I'm heavily like looking. I'm like, show me new stages, show me new fucking characters, show me new shit. Sure, and then probably drop a guest character on launch. I imagine is what they'll do. They'll save like.
Hey, you want to talk about latency?
Things for that.
That Fall Guys thing came out in FF14. Those two game styles and their latency prediction algorithms do not mix.
Oh no! Oh no! Does the 14 Fall Guys fucking fail?
The way that FF14 does its thing is that the server snapshots your location when the AoE goes off on the server side, and then no matter where you are when the hit hits you, if it snapshotted you earlier, you got hit. And there's invisible AoE markers in the Fall Guys thing that snapshot you at times that you would not possibly expect. So you're running through and you just get hit by something like 20 feet away that's nowhere near you because the game said, well, you were near it before.
That's so weird but wouldn't the way that like fighting a communal boss work is that like things like that should be actually very accurate and tight because the threats are shared?
No,
so collision
So I'm not super technical on this, but the long and short of it is the way that the server in 14 pings your location in regards to being hit by something is via server ticks. And server ticks on that server are not fast. So it kind of checks every, I forget how long, but it checks every little bit and go, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Are you in it? Are you in it? Are you not in it? If your latency is like over 150 ms, then where it looks like you are and where the game thinks you are can be very off. If your ping is bad or the server's getting a little fucky, you can get into very insane situations in FF14 where you will physically die from a hit, and then your corpse will continue to move with your party because your location control will still be on the body, but it will have snapshotted you as dying, and so you'll see somebody's body sliding around. Well, when you attribute that to something like Fall Guys is like fucking swinging
spinning
goddamn
bullshit. Threats,
you can get goofy fucking situations. So the better your latency, the less likely it is to happen, but some people are having little whoopsies with that. On the plus side, every now and then matchmaking breaks and you get into a game by yourself.
Okay.
Which means you win by default.
As long as you don't fall off the drop pit or whatever.
No, it'll keep going until you can't lose if you're by yourself.
Okay.
You can only win.
So if the threat is like an active, large physical thing with collision that's supposed to move you and not just a ground marker that says damage now, it's not made for that to be
also because MMO
dimensions.
players are freaks. I'm trying to find it for you. They have solved the Fall Guys encounter with a series of charts. And basically when you start Fall Guys, if you have your spreadsheet next to you and you look at where the things are rolling down the thing, you can figure out what route to take to just barely avoid everything, and it's perfect every single time.
There is no random the set instance like generation.
Well, no, because FF14 doesn't really have physics, so it can't actually randomly generate physics.
So we've just broken it.
So it can be solved. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, can they apply that to regular Fall Guys? Can they apply that to regular Fall Guys and just
no, because Fall Guys has physics. So
yeah, okay.
There's millions of permutations. But MMO players, they can't help it. They have to. It's in their brains. They must solve.
Okay.
Fun.
Most actions are normalized to a 3-second global cooldown, but the tick rate for the server is generally handled in about 300 ms. Pretty slow for an online game. Okay. Huh. Well, do you get your cute little Fall Guy hat out of it?
You sure do, and it looks like shit.
Great.
But people like that. So.
Yeah.
I ran a dungeon with somebody wearing the Fall Guys shirt, and it is some neon Technicolor garbage. It is an eyesore. It's great.
Can you make a little Fall Guy like stick out of your cleavage? And
I don't know.
Just because I feel like that's it. You're done.
No, but the hat doesn't work on the bunny guys, so a little Fall Guy pops out of their hair.
Okay. Great. I mean, look, I for one encourage further jank ass crossover things where we try to fit new game system engine types into 14.
Wildly incompatible shit.
Figure it out. Get me Tetris in 14. Go. Do it. I'm surprised. Anyway, whatever. Like, if there isn't already like a Minecraft type situation.
Oh, you mean Island Sanctuary?
Yeah. Is that? Yeah.
Do you remember me describing that to you?
No.
Okay, so Island Sanctuary is their like Minecraft like little Animal Crossing thing that they came out and like, hey guys, you just did Endwalker. Endwalker was very serious. It was very intense. So what we're going to do is we're going to make Island Sanctuary where you can go play a little Animal Crossing game and build a little village by yourself and just chill content. And within like a day, here comes the optimal rock hitting guide to Island Sanctuary so that you can maximize your fucking, I forget what it's called, your ducats in order to get every single rare bird on the island and fucking bang it out. That content was supposed to last people like a year.
Fuck.
Calories, yeah. Gotta max out your calories. My buds have a Discord, and I went into the FF14 Discord, like, the tab, and they were all chatting. Guys, remember, don't go to your Island Sanctuary this week. Because if you go to the Island Sanctuary, the calories will cash out. You need to wait until Tuesday morning after the patch next week to come out. Then you'll go into the Island Sanctuary, and then you'll catch last week's stocked up calories onto the new cap. And then one of them accidentally went there and like, no, my calories. I accidentally got them this week. No. And it's like, dude, you can't. It's
Sounds like fun.
but then
Sounds like so much fun.
But then the person who was like, "Don't visit the island this week, so you can get it next week," they were the first person to show a picture of their character riding the motorcycle you get out of Island Sanctuary, and we all went, "Ooh!"
Did their character permanently enter a blind state?
No, they did not.
No. Okay. All right, and then one little bit here that is a piece of news, but also a shout out, because none of us, no one I knew about this. This is wild. Shout outs to Leon Massey, who's got a great YouTube channel.
He sure does.
Getting into some cool fighting game and other general video essays.
I would recommend, if you wanted to watch a Leon Massey video, go watch his incredible video on how jumps work in fighting games.
Real good. Or you can check out his latest, which is a really good video about fighters lost in the files, and in particular, how 2 hidden fighters were discovered in Rising Thunder that no one has talked about at all.
Really?
There are 2 characters hidden in the files, and you just have to do a quick little switch to get them loaded in, and you can unlock
Dude, that's
Aegis
crazy.
and Gun. And
Gun?
like gun.
They just got a gun. I'm looking at him right now. They just got a gun.
Gun has a gun, and Gun appears to be kind of like just a very incomplete sort of test out for like what it would be like to have a Guile style character. So a lot of Guns, a Gun has a unique model, but Gun's moves are all borrowed from other characters, and then the gun button is the one shot thing, and it's basically like seeing what would happen if you had like someone who could do flash kick sonic boom charges, but in this case what it is by pressing the gun button, it also makes the uppercut go on cooldown at the same time, and if you do the uppercut, it makes the gun go on cooldown at the same time, so they're shared. Pretty incomplete character otherwise, though, like not very good from a lot of the things he goes over the details in that video. And then Aegis, who's extremely interesting because she's very potentially close to complete as a wild new style character. Aegis she's basically a character that has a shield that comes out and can do like she's very slow moving. She has like a not great dash. She's very like kind of stuck where she is, and you can bully her. But what's going on is she's got a shield and various buttons that are all extremely plus on block, right? So when she hits you, she recovers first on a ton of things she does, which means you're constantly at a disadvantage. And it's almost like being in her face is the same fear you would have for being in front of a grappler's face, but for completely different reasons, And then she has the ability to put her shield on her limbs and then get a hit of armor as well. So she can be armored and plus on what she does. So it's just like, what if we made a character that was like, her whole deal is I'm at insane advantage when I'm in front of you, but like you can bully me from outside of that range, Really interesting. So yeah, Rising Thunder, for anyone who doesn't know, is the game that was made by Radiant, who the Cannon brothers, who are now making Project L, the League of Legends fighting game. This was the game they made before that was kind of like a test bed for like a lot
it's one of the
systems
deadest fighting games you can think of, because like it doesn't even really officially exist anymore.
Yeah, well, it came out as a game that could only be played online. It was a free game that was kind of just like, again, I feel like an execution of a bunch of concepts to see if like a simple modern control style fighter could be a thing. And it was very good, and it was like one of the early
really
solid
good
efforts in laying a lot of the groundwork for like how a simple but fun fighting game can approach accessible controls and still be pretty deep and have a lot of crazy mixes and depth. And the last thing they did was release a community edition, which people kind of were able to then, keep going themselves. And so there's a Discord and a bunch of people where they still play together. And, that's kind of like the community version. And yeah, so there you go. Just, you can go look at the video going into the what they found and some of the details on all the other things in the code that they were able to scrape together and find out. So fucking awesome game. And again, the direct thing that leads to League of Legends fighting game, getting handed over to them. So go check out Leon Massey for more information about that. It's cool too to see like an experimental character that's like that. It's like a non-grappler, and like, yes, the armor style characters are like, there's Marissa and there's Abigail and stuff like that, but they do ultimately have command grabs, and they also are not plus on everything they do, but here's one that very much is, but her just mobility is the sacrifice. So check it out. All right. Let's take some letters.
Did we talk about the Bungie layoffs last week?
We did.
We did?
Yeah.
Jeez, that sucks.
Yeah. As well as the delay and
right, you're right.
marathon.
I just didn't want to miss it because fuck.
Mm-hmm. If you've got a letter, you can send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
And it might read like this.
Oh, wait. Did you see Microsoft announce via the Game Awards that they're going to fucking go all in on AI?
So there's some sort of tool or so that's devs are going to work with that.
Let me get the fucking statement.
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft is bringing AI characters to Xbox, partnering with in-world AI to create Xbox game dev tools for generative AI characters, storylines, and more. Full details on this AI push here.
Whatever that means. I
At
don't
Xbox,
know what
we
that
believe
means.
in better tools, more extraordinary games. Generative AI models, cutting-edge cloud-based solutions include blah, 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 blah. The multi-platform toolset will include the AI design co-pilot for scripts and dialogue, an AI character engine that can be integrated into games and used to dynamically generate stories, quests, and dialogue. I bet no game that uses this will ever come out.
Working with a writer as opposed to replacing them.
Sure. Whatever you say. Whatever you fucking say.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine working at fucking Obsidian after fucking Microsoft bought you because of your writing and narrative expertise, and then turning around going, AI stories.
I mean, the curiosity is to see like what the level of stubbornness is with each of these companies, because like I feel like Ubi and the commitment to the NFT bit stuff, and then the like we're gonna triple down thing is like under no circumstances, fuck you, never ever ever nuh-uh, is a wild way to go in the face of like tons of financial loss. And it's like, will Microsoft take that same route?
You know what? I'm going to mitigate what I just said. Exactly one game will come out that uses this shit.
Okay. Yeah. We got one coming in over here from Ahmad, who says, hey, funny nickname 1 and funny nickname 2.
That's the best one so far.
You've got $15, you're at 7-Eleven, and you need snacks. What are you walking out with? For me, that's easy.
7-Eleven have shitty sandwiches?
Japanese. Okay. Like,
where? Okay,
easy mode,
all right.
Easy mode Japanese kombini, 7-Eleven.
Oh, yeah, I'm walking out with the sandwiches, man.
I'm walking out with a meal and like and a Boss coffee and like a fucking gourmet bread and a million.
Yeah,
other
there you
things.
go. Done.
Yeah.
Easy.
No,
I'll eat like that every day.
All right, North American corner store or dépanneur for
Yeah. Do you? I'm gonna assume they mean local convenience store,
corner store or gas station, right? For me, That's usually usually a guru, an energy drink or so. Getting some beef jerky. Probably a stick. I can get like a Jack Link's, just sweet and spicy stick. Probably some Reese's Pieces, and if I'm feeling frisky, I'll grab some Miss Vicky's.
I would grab for $15. Probably just grab a big old Dorito and the biggest drink I can get a hold of. Because you listed a lot of shit for $15.
Yeah, I'm getting like like a can that's like a $3 can. I'd get like a like a whatever, like a $3 Reese thing, and like I'd get like four things for that $15. Like a jerky thing, maybe like $5 for that. I'd buy like 4 things. But definitely my like when we stop at like a road trip, I definitely am usually in the mood for jerky, or a white chocolate macadamia nut Cliff Bar. Those things are great. Cliff Bars are
I
solid.
could make a Dorito bag last like a whole day. You just wait until you're about to die, and then you gorge until you're sick. And then you won't be hungry for a while because you feel sick.
Yeah. Now, if it's the corner store at the airport, you get one thing for that money. So, you want breath mints? You get $15.
Yeah, hit up that snake meal on fucking Doritos. You know about snake meal, Wooly?
Nope.
It's where you pile every meal of the day into one big meal and eat it like a snake.
At the same time.
Meal.
Yeah. Okay.
I used to do snake meal.
Are we
before
trying to just evolve boy and girl dinner into the next thing here, or...
No, snake meal predates boy and girl dinner. Actually, snake meal is much older.
But like you have to eat it at the same time for it to be snake meal?
Dude. When I was like, when like you remember when like I drop over at your house and like we'd play like Street Fighter? Did you ever notice that I never ate anything?
Well, that's not true. That's a lie. You're lying right now. You ate a bag of Reasons and you left the wrappers on the ground everywhere they may lay.
That's not true.
You would eat Reasons.
I always put them inside the little bag.
That is, dude. I had to point it out.
Did I just suck at it? Is that what's happening?
Multiple times. I had to point out, when you eat your fucking Reasons, please do not just drop the wrapper on the ground. And
I'm
got there eventually, but there were many instances of Reasons cleanup after the fact.
I'm sorry.
It was kind of wild. But a full bag of Reasons would be your go-to.
I can't believe my sugar is still good. That is the most outrageous shit that's ever happened.
Okay. Here's one coming in from DSG, who says, "Hey, Willie and Pat, quick trivia about Garp's dog hat and him in general."
Yeah, what about it?
So One Piece started with 2 pilots known as Romance Dawn. The first one was very close to the actual first chapter with Shanks. The second pilot has Luffy's unnamed grandpa give Luffy the straw hat. Since Oda wanted to keep Shanks a surprise, when Garp was put into the actual series, Oda gave him the dog hat to hide his identity, since he reused the design for the second pilot, and people would figure out who he was. They'd figure out the twist. Do you know any similar cases where the side material or plot material or pilot material led to hiding a character's identity or something like that?
I don't know about that, but what I first think of is if you read the short story that Miura put out before Berserk ever existed, it's clearly Guts saving a child that is clearly Griffith from a monster.
Okay.
And then when he made Berserk, he just rolled those designs forward.
I mean, it's not a surprise, but like you can just look at Bao and see Star Platinum, as well as Pillarman ass shit, and you can and we were just talking about like how the trench coat like hobo Urasawa man just keeps coming back up in each of these series that he makes. So
like watching Stardust Crusaders, because I hadn't been familiar with part 2, and I'm like, are they ever going to address that? Like Star Platinum is Bruford / Santana. Are we just what is happening? Like the designs are like the same.
It's pretty, it has it's got the cues. I definitely see more Bao on him, but like, yeah, they're all coming from that same Aztec inspired, thing. And then the thing is, but like after Star Platinum, then it just starts going all over the place. He looks like that, and then other stands start just becoming wild alien Vogue robots.
Yeah, they do become robots, don't they?
They literally just become robots. They become alien Vogue robots as the further.
That's so weird. Why they all become robots?
Yeah. Oh yeah, gorgeous Irene. That's true too. Even the name Irene that has its precedent with the series that Araki did beforehand. Mm-hmm. All right, and let's take one over here from Remurai. How's it going, Remurai?
Hey, man.
Dear Willie the Elder and Patriarch, as you
I like that because I have a baby.
Have heard, about a week ago, the Golden Girls JRPG was canceled. Understandable reasons for doing so, but still a bit of a bummer. When I first heard about the game, I thought it was a funny idea, but then it made me realize that, as far as I'm aware, there's not really many games that let you play as the elderly. Seems like there's many stories you could tell with a game like that about life experience, recent history, dealing with grandkids, medical issues, and all sorts, and some sort of bittersweet pain of living a long, eventful life and nearing its bittersweet conclusion in the autumn years. The only one that comes close I can think of is Metal Gear Solid 4. Do you have a better example? I hope I one day could make a game where you can play as like an 80-year-old grandparent, because there's stories to tell there, either heartbreaking or heartwarming.
So before we move on, I would like to point out that Remurai mentioning Golden Girls DX is hilarious to me, because one of the reasons we were talking about Golden Girls DX is limit your scope. Make sure you can ship something. Hey, you know who had a nice limited scope and shipped something? Remurai.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great.
There you go.
Old people, huh?
Nier is old, but I don't know if Papa Nier is like, that's right on the line of like old man, elderly, and like middle-aged.
Nier Gestalt specifically.
Yeah, because old Papa Nier is not in like his 80s, but he's certainly in his like late 50s, early 60s, I feel like.
Kiryu's getting there. And he does.
31 years old.
Yakuza 6 is literally I'm basically a grandpa right now. Fuck. I gotta find who knocked up my little girl and punch them.
Sifu is a game mechanic. Sifu is a game mechanic version of that, admittedly.
Yeah, that's not really
the same. Yeah.
People saying Legacy of Kain. Legacy of Kain does not count. The characters are thousands of years old, but they're vampires.
Lost Odyssey also doesn't count because you're a hot immortal. You do have grandpa energy, but you're a hot, in a way, immortal. So I don't feel like it carries the weight. Like, old Snake is old fucking Snake.
Goku doesn't count.
Is dedicated.
Goku's the alien.
Yeah, like old Snake is coughing up his lungs and dying like for half the fucking game.
Hey, yeah. Can I would like to clear the air for on some very specific joke that I'm seeing somebody make, that I keep every 2 weeks I see like a thread about Yakuza, because I cried for Daigo. And why is Pat so mad that he cried for Daigo? I don't like Daigo because of the shit he did at the end of Yakuza 4. After that, he was dead to me forever. That's it. That's the explanation. The shit he did at Yakuza 4, I hate him forever. That's it.
Adios. You play as an old man.
About an older guy. Yeah, you're right.
You play as an old man who's lived a life, and you are visiting. The whole story is about life's actions prior to the game starting. Adios is exactly what Remurai is talking about. Yeah. There you go.
How many old people? Old
Snake, Adios.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's got to be more old people, right?
Because here's the thing, because if you have to take the fact that you can take Papa Nier and replace him with young brother Nier and it makes no difference is showing you that the whole part of the past is irrelevant to his, his thing.
People are saying Geralt. Yeah, Geralt is actually an old man. Like both in attitude and in literal age. Like he's a mutant freak.
He just looks young and hot, but
he does not look young.
He looks
ever.
Okay, he looks not wrinkled.
He is wrinkled.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like
he is visibly old. He's just not. He's much older than you think he is.
Huh. Okay.
And I remember when I was talking about Witcher 3 a million years ago, Geralt is like visibly and audibly exhausted by every interaction.
Now,
like,
are we talking about
he's
Henry
like
Cavill
a grandpa that has to do a video game. He doesn't want to do it.
Because Henry Cavill is very chiseled, young.
We're not talking about Henry Cavill.
Okay.
Wait, is that how you say his fucking... No, that's not. It's Henry Cavill. You're fucking infecting me with your bullshit. There is no way his fucking name is Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is young, square-jawed, peak fucking age dude. Is he supposed to come across older in game?
Oh, in the games, he looks visibly older. Also, Geralt is not supposed to be an exhaustively, incredibly chiseled man-meat, handsome man.
Okay.
He is supposed to look like kind of a freak mutant.
Yeah, I guess. This feels a bit closer to the Lost Odyssey thing I was saying, though, because I'm looking at the in-game face artwork covers as well, and it's like... It's up there, but... You're not like 80s looking like I'm a tired
but my
old
point
man,
is that he's exhausted. Like he's an old. I guess he is so tired.
Adios,
like most side quests in Witcher 3, he doesn't want to do.
I guess like Adios and Old Snake are like your age is like a fucking. It's the point, and you're clearly like coming in at the denouement,
I gotta say, you know what? I'm like, how come there's not more old people? And then I remembered Final Fantasy VII, good old Sid Highwind, the old man of the gang at the ripe old age of 32.
32, yeah.
Like, the tyranny of youth is upon us in video game land.
A lot of people are saying Joel and Kratos, but I feel like Joel and Kratos also represent like the oldest you can get while still being like kind of active and like
Joel is like in his 50s and he's like more physically fit than like my dad was when he was 35.
That's it, right? Joel and Kratos are they're pushing the limit of it, but like I would say like the thing that comes right after that point, because we have to stretch to get these characters that are still buff, jacked, and doing amazing things to fit the definition. And I kind of think what Rem is going for here is like,
no, it's like
old
Grandpa.
Snake is coughing up blood, man. He's
Snake's back
he's
hurts.
a diaper wearing fuck,
Yeah.
Like that's the point. If it doesn't scream that, you're stretching it.
Like, oh man, you know what just flashed into my mind? Like, it's a very specific fucking image of Snake's face where Sonny brings out the shittiest fucking eggs you've ever seen, and he's like 85 and he looks at the eggs and you can see the phrase "I should just kill myself" on his fucking face.
No, my brain just flashes back to Old Snake with the gun going, and it's $6.99.99 flashing. Yeah. Okay. So no, good point. There should be more games that have you playing as the elderly, and not just aesthetically, but like the fact that they're old wraps into what's going on. There's a lot to talk about.
Dude, I'm in my 30s, and I have days in which like I kind of sleep a little weird, and like I'm limping to the store because my foot hurt. Like, and I can't even imagine what it would be like when I'm 80.
Oh shit!
Trying to do video game shit.
So, Vesemir?
Yeah, Vesemir's old as
That's an old man. This is what I'm actually talking about. Yeah. Looking at a picture of this dude, absolutely.
Vesemir's like 200 plus. He's an old
That is
fucking
old man coated, old man looking, wrinkle ass face. Geralt is super fucking chiseled and hot by comparison to this
Geralt,
old fuck.
man. Geralt, come on.
Excuse me. I haven't heard it spoken.
That's fucking bullshit. That is the most outrageous lie.
I've heard it spoken by everyone else here. Yes, I think if I experience it myself, I'll probably make that mistake less. Sure. Yeah, this dude looks absolutely like he's got liver spots on his render.
Oh yeah, no, he's like in narrative he's like the oldest living Witcher, and they're like, "How old do you guys live?" He's like, "I don't know, because we all get eaten by monsters." So like, there's no upper limit on their old age. They're like crocodiles. Crocodiles don't die of old age. They either die of starvation because they get too big, or something eats them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That'll do. More old man gaming coming soon from Remade.
More old man gaming coming soon from twitch.tv/PatStaresAt.
And Willie Versus in there, yes. But like we established, the fucking the silver hair looks cool.
Yeah. Also, if you want to check out Slightly Different and you're listening to this on Monday live, you can go down to twitch.tv/PeachSalive, which you can be streaming tonight. Like in an hour or two. I don't know when.
Later.
Bye.